Was Tucker Carlson removed by the spirits? Was there another realm, a mystery behind his firing? This is Jonathan Cahn. Last time I opened up the mystery behind the shooter at the Nashville Christian School. I told you of the secret behind the name of the shooter that connected her to the Bible's description of the demoniac, the demon-possessed man who brought terror and danger. I told you of the mystery of the numbers involved in the shooting that connected with a satanic number. Well, I found out more. That has to do with a name she chose to mark the killings by, that go back to an ancient god, actually a fallen angel, a demon. I'll open that up in the next posting, and wait till I tell you what happened after we posted that video. But in this video, I want to get into what happened to Tucker Carlson, because it's all connected. To understand what I'm about to tell you, you need to understand the foundation that I open up in The Return of the Gods, the book I just wrote. First, behind the gods of the pagan world are spirits. In Hebrew, they're called the Shedim. In Greek, they're called the Daimonia. We get the word demon. Second, Jesus gave the parable about a man who's delivered from a demonic spirit, but the spirit goes back into the man with 7 other spirits, and the man is repossessed, and more so than before. The warning for America and Western civilization is this: any nation, any culture, any civilization that has been cleansed, delivered of such things as in the spirits by the power of God, the word, the gospel, Jesus, if it should ever turn away from God, empty itself of God, it will not remain empty. The spirits that were cast out of it will come back into it. The ancient spirits, the gods, will return to repossess the culture. And that's exactly what's happening to America. That's exactly what's happening to the West. As it's been emptying itself of God, the spirits, the gods, the demonic powers have returned, and they are repossessing our culture. In the book, I identify 3 primary ancient gods or spirits that are actually now repossessing our culture, even our children. The Dark Trinity. The first is called the Possessor. The second is called the Enchantress. The third is called the Destroyer. The first, the Possessor, turns a nation that has known God away from God, from a Judeo-Christian nation into a pagan one. It's happening. The second, the Enchantress, seduces a culture through the realm of sexuality. She sexualizes a culture. She destroys marriage. It's happening. The third, the Destroyer, causes parents to kill their children. It's happening. Over 64 million children in America killed before they take their first breath. And I open up the mystery of the Enchantress, another one. She has another side. In The Return of the Gods, I put in the ancient inscriptions that reveal that she bends the lines of gender, turns a man into a woman into a man. She takes possession of a culture. It's happening. She would cause men to parade in the city streets dressed up as women. She would especially possess a culture for 1 month, the month of June, or Tammuz. And she's linked to the sign of the rainbow. Well, it's all happening. What does this have to do with the removal of Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson was the most popular personality in Fox News, and yet they fired him. Why? Some said because he spoke some things against his bosses. It's a common thing to happen. Others said he aired some things that his bosses at Fox weren't comfortable with. One of the most interesting reasons was given that of Rupert Murdoch, owner of Fox, that he was recently engaged to an evangelical Christian woman. He had her and Tucker Carlson for dinner, and when his fiancee spoke and read from the Bible and spoke of Carlson as a prophetic voice, Murdoch was not happy. And that he's not comfortable with spirituality on Fox News or getting into various issues of the culture. And not long after he broke off his engagement to that woman, he fired Tucker Carlson. Beyond those reasons, there is something bigger and deeper and darker at work. In The Return of the Gods, I wrote about what happens when the gods or spirits return to a culture, a nation. At first, you start hearing about tolerance, do your own thing. It's just a strategy for the spirits to open the door of a Judeo-Christian civilization, get in the door. But once they get in the door, once they start gaining power in the culture, then a change begins to take place. We move from a culture of toleration to a culture of cancellation. That's what always happens when the gods, the spirits, take over a culture. It's every knee shall bow to the new gods. Every tongue will confess to the new religion, the ideology, the wokeism. And if you don't, the spirits will come after you. They'll seek to marginalize you, vilify you, deplatform you, cancel you, silence you, eliminate you. It's what happened when the gods took over Israel in the times of Ahab and Jezebel. It's happening now. In The Return of the Gods, I reveal how the specific gods of the Dark Trinity seek to silence, cancel those who stand in their way. who stands in their way. In the section I called The War of the Gods, I wrote that the fury of the gods would, quote, fall first on all those who upheld the ways of God. The Christians, those who follow God's word. That's why they're targeting true Christians. That's why they're targeting the Bible, seeking to marginalize them, vilify them, silence them, so the Nashville shooting. But not only Christians, the book says, and this is what I'm quoting from the book, conservatives would also be targeted. The reason was simple. Conservatives sought to conserve the gods or the spirits seek to overturn. Tucker Carlson stood in their way. He became the most prominent conservative voice of America's national media against their agenda. And if you've noticed, in more recent days, he's been getting deeper. More and more, he's saying that behind what's happening in America is something spiritual. That's what the book reveals. So according to the mystery, he's going to be the target of the spirits, the entities. Recently, he gave a speech at the Heritage Foundation, and he went even further in unmasking the
secrets that only we know. Feel the glow in your presence, time moves slow. Touch my soul, your love's the fire that makes me whole. Let it shows, together let our true selves unfold. I'm hallowed, every whisper of our story told. In your eyes, my heart's been sold. You are a star in the world, you're the brightest part, shining bright, illuminating every darkened night. In my heart, with you lost a world come on, all the night. In your embrace, I take flight. Oh baby, with you every day feels right. In your love I find my light. Stay with me, let's dance under the moonlit sea. Just be free, in your arms I find my plea. In your light I find strength, I find my might. I believe in this love we're meant to be.
The gods or the spirits. He basically said the forces that are taking over America and the conflict we're all in isn't natural, it's spiritual. He said none of this makes sense, this is a quote, in conventional political terms. What you're watching is not a political movement, it's evil. He said, I'll put it in non-political, or rather non-specific theological terms. In The Return of the Gods, I speak of the connection between abortion and the destroyer God, who ordained child sacrifice, now is possessing our culture. Well, listen to what Tucker Carlson said in that speech. He said this, quote, "But if you're telling me that abortion is a positive good, what are you saying? Well, you're arguing for child sacrifice," unquote. Child sacrifice. That was to the gods. He was connecting it to the gods. He's exposing them. In the book, I wrote about how the ancient child sacrifice were done to obtain material or financial gain. Well, listen to what Tucker Carlson said. He said, quote, "When the Treasury Secretary stands up and says, you know what you can do to help the economy? Get an abortion." Well, that's like an Aztec principle. Actually, there's not a society in history that didn't practice human sacrifice. Not one. I checked. Even the Scandinavians, I'm ashamed to say, it wasn't just the Mesoamericans, it was everybody. So that's what it is. Well, what's the point of child sacrifice? Well, there's no policy. This is still Tucker talking. There's no policy gold entwined with that. No, that's a theological phenomenon. He was exposing a dark principality, one of the three of the dark trinity. But he didn't just do that. He went further. He said, this is the other of the dark trinity, which is the enchantress, the goddess who transitioned the gender of her followers, even surgically mutilating them. So Tucker exposed her as well. He said, he spoke of the agenda to surgically alter sexuality and gender. And he said, if people say, well, let's castrate the next generation, let's sexually mutilate children, I'm sorry, that's not a political debate. That's nothing to do with politics, unquote. In other words, he's saying it is spiritual. There is a spirituality behind it, a dark force. He was exposing the force, the entity, and that is the enchantress. That's two of the three of the dark trinity. And by implication, when he spoke of the oppression and cancel culture, he's speaking of the other one, the possessor. And he said this, quote, "Those are manifestations of some larger force acting upon us." To totally offend the gods at the end, he said this, "I've concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will." He called for prayer. Those were his last words. Now, there's one thing he didn't get right. He said that he was unlike those who suffered consequences for expressing their viewpoints. He said he was paid to express his. He said, "I faced no penalty." Well, he did, because the battle was not natural, it was spiritual. He spoke against the spirits, the gods, he spoke against them. One of the inscriptions from the ancient Mesopotamian tablets regarding the goddess says this, and I put it in the book. It says, "She cuts to pieces him who shows no respect to her." She cuts to pieces. In another place, I put in this quote of the goddess from her inscription. She says, "Since they showed me no respect, since they did not put their noses to the ground for me, I will personally fill the mountain range with my terror." She's threatening them. The gods, the ancient spirits, would come after Tucker Carlson. This is what I wrote in the same chapter. Anyone who refuses to pay her homage, anyone refusing to go along with her altering of sexuality, marriage, and gender, would suffer the unleashing of her fury. She would vilify them, portray them as haters. She would incite the culture against them, seek to deprive them of their livelihood, like their job, their speech, and their freedom. Well, so it happened. It happened to Tucker Carlson. And it wasn't natural. It wasn't about Fox. It was about the spirits he was exposing, coming after him. He gave the speech, which more than any other revealed the demonic forces at work in our culture. His was the most prominent voice exposing them. So they had to take him down. When did he give the speech? On May 21st, Friday. When was Tucker Carlson's last day on the air? May 21st, Friday, the same exact day that he exposed the gods, the spirits. He was taken down. It was not natural. I wrote this in the book. As for those who defied their dominion and would not bow their knee, the gods would pass the same judgment on them, think Tucker Carlson, as they had on those who resisted them in ancient times. There would be no room for them in the dominion of the gods. And so it happened. Now, the following Monday morning, I heard what Tucker had said in the speech regarding the exposing of the spirits. I was on a plane about to take off. I emailed my publisher and said, we have to get the Return of the Gods into Tucker Carlson's hands. This is what he's dealing with. It was Monday morning. When I got the email back from my publisher, it said, Tucker Carlson just got fired. I saw the announcements of his firing within the very hour that I was led to get the Return of the Gods into his hands. I told you it's real. It's real. The spirits are back. The gods are back, and they're after you. If you're a human being, they want to destroy you. And the only way to be safe, protected, is to be born again, saved. Now, Now, if you're a follower of God, they're after you. They want to silence you. They want you to shut up. That's why I wrote the book, to expose them and what they're planning to do and to prepare and arm God's people. They want you to be silent, but do not be silent. Stand, speak, be bold, shine the light, because God is stronger than the gods. And how about doing what Tucker Carlson asked in his last words? Pray 10 minutes a day for the future, for America, for the world, for revival. If you haven't gotten your copy of The Return of the Gods, it's literally everywhere. You can get it online, Amazon, everywhere. But in the next post, I'm going to share with you the shocking revelation that I found out about the shooting at the Christian school. And wait till you hear the supernatural happening that took place after we posted the video. Until next time, this is Jonathan Cahn. Stay strong.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Cahn, and I hope you were blessed with the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Feel free to share your reactions with your comments and how you were blessed, and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.